yena ulwana inkinga yami ufuna wehluleka inkinga yami yodwa mawulwana yena ulwana inkinga yami ufuna wehluleka inkinga yami yodwa mawulwana makhalene nayo inkinga yami ufuna wehluleka ngifuna qine mina njalo nje ngisho njalo nje.
Good day. Today we are having Kenneth Kopase, Chairman of Naledi Youth and Community Development. Today we'll be covering Heritage Month, Heritage Day. So today, as we are having Kenneth, he'll be telling us more about heritage, because you know we are on Heritage Month. Mr. Kopase, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tibo Splash. It's a great honor to be on the show. We will be deliberating further on this month, Heritage Month theme for this Heritage Day, which is liberation and repatriation. We are going to start with liberation.
Yes.
We are covering one of the stories that was never covered before.
That's powerful. Yeah.
Unceremoniously, this story was never recognized and it was never published. So this is for the first time we are covering this story through the assistance of Mr. Thabo Splash.
Yes.
So this story started at Naledi High School. Actually, it started at Naledi, Soweto, because Soweto has a rich history in terms of heritage.
Yes.
You can see the whole history about Soweto, but Naledi, we never had anything according to Naledi. So as the youth and community of Naledi, we went down to make a research with regards to our community of Naledi to say what is significant about this location of ours, because we don't see nothing tremendously happening in our area.
Yes.
So what we did, we make a research, we found out that Naledi High was a gem. The school Naledi High had a lot of history. I'm also a product of Naledi High.
Wow, that's powerful. I
competed at Naledi High 1999. So before Naledi High, it started at my house.
Yeah.
When we were making research, we found out that my grandfather fought in the First World War, in the Second World War, when they went to go and on behalf of British to assist on defeating Hitler. And then my second grandfather, Ephraim Melusi kopase, he was an activist. You can check him. He's on the history, South African history online. Wow. He was an activist, and he has the third street from my street at Naledi. It's Kopase Street. It was named after him. It was named after my grandfather.
Wow, that's powerful.
So that's when I was interested to say how there is heritage in Naledi and in my house.
Yes.
So
yes.
when we went further with my colleagues, then we find that the school which I attended, Naledi High, played a very significant role in the liberation of the country. Firstly, 1974, the student of Naledi High went to Mozambique and visited the late Samora Machel. Wow. Then when they went there, we interviewed the eyewitnesses, people who were on the trip.
That's
because
powerful.
Remember, one of my aunt went to Naledi High by that time, and my mother was at Naledi High, but they never went to the trip because teacher Remahutle, the same teacher who died at Mozambique, came to my house requesting for them to come because they were bright at school in debating.
Okay.
So when teacher Remahutle get to my house, he requested them to come to the trip to Mozambique. So my grandfather, Melusi kopase, which was Ephraim Melusi kopase, which was an activist, he knew the situation in Mozambique by then. And then he told them, the teacher, Mr. Mahute, to say, Mr. Mahute, I can't let these children go because Samora Machel is fighting the Portuguese.
Yeah.
Frelimo by then was fighting the Portuguese because Mozambique was under Portugal. And then
Wow.
that's why he could never let those, my mom and my aunt to go to the trip. So, fine, they went to the trip. When we interviewed the eyewitness, people who were on the trip, firstly, when they get to Mozambique, Samora Machel came into the classroom. He never spoken to the learners. He just wrote a question mark on the board to say, ask yourself what is happening in South Africa.
Eish.
Why is South Africa on this state? Remember, I'm talking about 50 years back, 1974. It's 2024 now.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
it's been long. It's been
50
long.
years.
Yeah, it's been long.
No, and then Samora Machel never spoken to them. He went out with his combat. He was wearing a full uniform because he was a president and a soldier.
And a soldier at the same time.
Then
Samora Machel,
the president of Mozambique, the one and only Samora Machel. And then
it's powerful.
after then, when they were returning back to South Africa,
Yeah.
the bus, there was a horrific accident. It was never covered by, by the media and the whole historians. So it was well known. It was known as Leronzo Marx bus disaster. In short, it was LM bus disaster. So on the LM bus disaster, what really occurred or what transpired there? 10 students and 1 teacher died there.
Wow.
The very same teacher who was at my house speaking with my late grandfather to request for my mom and my aunt to go to the trip.
Yes.
The same teacher, Mr. Mahute, died on that accident.
Aish.
And 10 students. The first perception of the story was there was a landmine.
Yeah.
The second perception of the story when we do the research was that they collided with a truck
With
full
another-
of ammunition and bombs. So we on our research we had 2 stories.
So there was no clear story.
We never had a
yeah,
clear
I never
story.
had the clear conclusion to saying, okay, this is what happened.
transpired.
Yes.
And then after that, it was a horrific accident. When we interviewed the eyewitnesses, they were saying they were picking pieces, body parts from there. It was a very horrific accident. And
As if like it was a bomb or something.
it exploded because the bus was divided into 2 pieces.
Oh my God.
So 2 learners were left there. Abraham Apani and Rosina Matsi. 50 years back. Their remains are still there. And then we will come to that when we deal with repatriation.
Yeah.
And then 1975, the student of Naledi High went to Brazil and met Pele. It was not covered. The likes of Pexin Kamazu Banda, who was a goalkeeper for Pirates for many years, and Pro Padi, who was also Pirates, and Mr. Movers, they call him Pra Movers.
Legends.
Pra Movers. They know him all over Soweto. You can go there, Pra Movers. He's in Naledi. He was playing for Naledi High. Those players went there and train with Pele and have discussions with Pele. You know what I'm saying? So that history was never recorded.
Was never covered. Yeah.
And then 1976, 8 days before June 16, there was a gentleman. He is also alive now, Mr. Enos Nkunchani. Mr. Enos Nkunchani wrote a letter to the apartheid government. He was with the crew, Mr. Khotso Siakhulu. Mr. Khotso Siakhulu's name was never uploaded like other people like Botsiesi Machine.
Yes.
He was only uploaded after when he died. And we were never very happy about that.
And those people played a huge role. They played a huge role.
Because Khotso Siakhulu, we even before he died, we were interviewing them, all the class of 76. You know, so he was not on a good state, and he was even drinking a lot by then
because of the experiences.
Because of the experience.
The experiences,
and,
yeah.
His colleagues were all over the place, parliament all over, and then he was underground.
And he was isolated.
He was isolated. You know, he was an unsung hero. So Mr. Enos wrote the letter to the apartheid government telling them, you know, they should stop this Africans as a medium instruction of education by then. So
there's a lot of things that were hidden.
A lot of
things that were hidden. They decided to pick those and said, no, these ones will make heroes, and others we will just sideline.
What you are saying,
know,
is quite correct, because they just took the history where it favors them.
Yeah.
And then where it doesn't favor them, they just block it. And
because they knew.
And it's also part of our heritage.
Yeah, they knew that we had to know that. So, and by knowing that, you know, there will be changes. There will be changes.
After that letter Enos wrote, there was repercussions, and you know, where apartheid law enforcement came to arrest Enos on the 8th of June. When they came and arrest Enos, the student of Naledi High refused to say, no, you cannot arrest Enos. They fought, and they banned the VW. It was a Foxy, the old Foxy, inside the schoolyard. It was never recorded in history. The first government car was banned inside Naledi High School 8 days before.
And it was never recorded.
The first government car, the police car, was banned inside Naledi High School 8 days before June 16, on the 8th of June. And then the
students were protecting.
Those police were locked by the principal, Mr. Shabani, inside the office, just so that the student may not, you know, kill those police.
Yes.
You know? And then after 8 June 16, in the morning, the march started at Naledi High Gate. They prayed there by Dr.
Naledi has a huge history.
Untold history, sir.
Untold
and it was never captured. No, before we started the initiative. Then Dr. Matar, the one and only Dr. Matar, he had a surgery next to Naledi Hall. So they prayed there by Dr. Matari, and then the march was started there by the gate of Naledi High. Then it walked Naledi High, it went to straight, it went, go via Zolamdeni, Chablani, until Morris. And then down by Morris, then they went down Orlando before the shootings, because the shooting started when they said, go back, and then the student.
And Morris has a lot of history as well.
Morris has exceeded.
Yeah, Morris has a lot of history.
That's what provoked us to say, Orlando, Morris, everyone has history. What is happening with Naledi?
Yeah.
And remember, before Morris and Orlando, there were lots of activities that were happening there that were never captured, because the march started in Naledi. So that's why we were saying the march should be recaptured and started in Naledi, so that we can be able to recapture the history we never had. So we are closing the liberation subject now. However, before we close the liberation subject, today there is Enos Day on the 8th of June. Every 8th of June we are commemorating the day of Mr. Enos Nkunjana. We have even a big portrait there on the classrooms, or standard 8 classrooms.
I have a question though. I have a question. I hear that you're saying, okay, now we're about to close the liberation. But my question is, are we liberated? That's the question. Are we liberated as South Africans?
As South Africans, I think we are liberated, but we are not here yet.
We are not there yet.
Yes. We are liberated.
But we are not there. Yeah.
We are liberated, but we are not there yet.
Yes.
There's need more to be done. There's still more to be done. The question is that what needs to be done in order to entrench and inculcate this liberation that our forefathers fought for. And then I was still on the Enos thing. So the Enos Day is commemorated We have a portrait for Enos there. Enos Day is there. And then the 1974 students, we have made a plaque for them inside the school. There is a plaque for them and their names there so that they can be remembered. We have made a park at the school. The school now it's a Model C school now. Before the project, that school was the 30th school in Soweto. No one wanted to attend Naledi High School because remember that liberation thing was still there. So people could not understand why Naledi was like this. It was because of this political engagement and orientation and the culture that was left. So I think in terms of liberation, we will just pause it there. However, going back to repatriation, the two students we spoken about, 1974, Abraham Hapani and Rosina Matsi, remains are still in Mozambique. There was an article.
So they were never collected.
Actually, what happened on that accident,
they were never taken back.
On that accident, their bodies were typically very bad. They were, mutilated.
Cannot identify.
They were pieces. So we could not move across the border with the body parts. So they had to, call the medical health services that side, and then they had to give them a decent burial. There was a church, a Mozambican church, a Samaritan church, which buried the learners on their graves and give them a proper funeral. So there was an article around 2016 because there was a lot of articles and press releases and media briefings that were made. So on that article, the Mozambican government was making a road, and then he wrote a letter to South African government to say, no, remember 1974 there was learners who were buried on the side of the road. So we are making a road, a renovation on this road. So those remains need to be removed from that road. So we were busy with the project by then. That's when we spoke to the ambassador in Mozambique, South African embassy in Mozambique. By then the ambassador was Mr. Luis Hotel. Then Mr. Luis Hotel made an investigation. He found out the report, it was written in Portuguese, he translated it, he found everything. However, there was some developments there. The learners were no longer on the side of the road. The learners, that church, exhumed them from the side of the road because they were buried on the side of the road where the accident happened. So they were exhumed from the side of the road and they were given a decent funeral on their cemetery, their church cemetery. So after that we discovered that because the government thought that the learners were there. So when we discovered that they were buried somewhere else, then that's where we made an application.
No, that's powerful.
We make an application.
Powerful.
We make an application to the Mozambican ambassador, the South African ambassador in Mozambique, Mr. Louis Hotel. Then after making that application, Mr. Louis Hotel found the application. He replied to me. We found the burial site. We talked to all the departments, city parks, all the departments that were relevant. We gave them the proposals. We went to them. We did a presentation.
And they answered.
Even the Home Affairs said, "I will give you a passport within short period of time for this man." Everyone gave us the letters. They gave us approval. The only obstacle was the machinery to exhume those children, because the only machinery was actually to the house. The one they exhumed the soldiers, the freedom fighters. So what happened? On the burial site, when the ambassador went to the burial site, Mr. Louis Hotel, the South African ambassador by then, he found out that on that burial site there were landmines, because when they were fighting the Frelimo, when they were fighting the Portuguese, they put a lot of landmines. If you can see, a lot of people in Mozambique, they don't have legs. Because they step into those landmines. So on those the other burial was that there were landmines on that burial site. So we could not go because we needed that. The detector.
You needed a detector.
And we needed also that machinery from to the house that they exhume the remains of people. So that was our only obstacle. Everyone approved to help us. Medical health services at Department.
So now they did not release the machine.
No,
to assist.
They could not release it by then because remember, after our application, there was an application for Moses Mabhida because Moses Mabhida's remains were in Mozambique by then.
Yeah.
So after our application, they did an application for Moses Mabhida. So our application never had weight than Moses Mabhida.
Yeah.
Even now he has his own stadium. And we did an application.
But even that one, it has weight.
No, because
it has weight as
remember,
well.
They were focusing on their own.
Yeah.
You know, they are liberators and stuff. They never thought the learners were significant like we thought they were significant. So that's why we are doing this show.
Yes.
We are requesting to say after 50 years. Can we repatriate the remains of Abraham Apani and Rosina Matsi? Because also their parents died without burying their children. And then our theme for this year
and they are South Africans. We need them this side.
Our theme for this year is liberation and repatriation. So we are requesting the government, the private sector, the public sector, business, the community, everyone who's watching the show to say, can you assist us so that we can be able to bring back Rosina Matsi and Abraham Apani back to South Africa? I thank you very much.
Yeah, it truly means a lot to have you on the show, Mr. Kenneth.
Thank you for having me.
It's so powerful what you shared to the people, you know, about heritage and where we're coming from, you know. And I believe that if we know where we're coming from, then we know where we are going. You know, as South Africans and as Africans, you know, it's so powerful that Africans used to work with each other back then.
Because
you know,
what you are saying, Mr. Tibos,
Samora
Machel, he died when he visited South Africa to warn the apartheid government about what they are doing to our African people. He never, his plane, he never returned to Mozambique. Even the story now, we don't know it because it was a propaganda by then. How did that helicopter fell down? What happened? We don't know. So Samora Machel died.
So we need to revisit history.
We need to revisit.
We need to revisit history.
And reform our history.
You know? So that we can know where we are going.
Thank you very much.
That's factual. That's factual. It truly means a lot to have you here, and you have opened our eyes. You know, now we know that there is history that is hidden in Naledi that should be revisited. You know, because Orlando has history, we know. You know, Morrison's has history. No, we need to know more, you know, as South Africans. So it's powerful to have you here. We thank you for everything,
thank you very
Mr.
much
Tabiso. Yes. So right now, Johannesburg to Vaal Cyphers, you know, it's a show whereby we bring you knowledge, we bring you a lot of stuff, a lot of artists here, you know. Art is also part of the show as well. So we'll be having an artist as usual to perform for us. Thank you for tuning in. Johannesburg to Vaal Cyphers, Volume 21. Let us respect our heritage and let us not forget where we're coming from. Power to that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Abachabula bantu, bulelis kupu bachabula bantu. Abachabula bantu, bulelis kupu bachabula bantu. Ailengo malem, evusele luchema. peace of joy. Awuyilengoma le evuselela ithemba that gives you strength, hope and energy to go further. Vuseleleka ngale ngoma yam, ungapheli mandla ngale ngoma yam, vuseleleka ngale ngoma yam, ungapheli mandla ngale ngoma yam. Peace of joy. Awuyilengoma le evuselela ithemba that gives you strength, hope and energy to go further. Thatha amehlo wakho ujonge phezulu, apho uncedo lwakho luvela khona. Thatha amehlo wakho ujonge phezulu, apho uncedo lwakho luvela khona.